Hello everybody and welcome to Spooky Month with the Follies.
Yay!
This is Date Night, our movie review show where we decide whether or not a movie is good enough for you to have with your loved one on a date night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally we try to surprise the other person with what we're going to be showing. However, this time I did let Nikki know what this week's movie is going to be.
Yes.
This week's movie, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I'm so excited!
So, tell me your history with this movie.
I first watched this movie way back in high school. So I was about 17 with like my second boyfriend, who already knew all the words and the dance and everything. But then it became like this cult following within my friends. Everybody had to see it, and we were quoting it in class. The teachers thought we were so weird. To the point where to this day, just like Pavlovian, it jumped to the left, I start doing the whole dance. So I love this movie so much.
So, I knew the music of it before I knew the movie.
Ooh.
I watched the movie for the first time when I was about the same age, 15, 16, somewhere in there. Absolutely love this musical. My friends got really into it when I was in high school, to the point where back in Indiana where I'm from, they every Halloween would put it on like a projector outside for people to watch for free, and people would dress up for it and go, and there'd be a couple performers that would actually perform everything in front of the screen. It was a hell of a lot of fun. Which, if you were to try to cosplay somebody from this,
Magenta.
Magenta?
Yeah.
I could see you pulling off Magenta.
I would do Magenta. What about you?
A Frankenfurter.
Okay.
I would have to cosplay as Frankenfurter. Normally my hair, for those that don't know me in my personal life, isn't this short.
Yeah.
This is only this short because of the stuff happening in the country right now. I can't go to a barber, so I cut it myself. Normally it's about shoulder length and curly, so
yeah,
it helps.
Yeah.
So with that, you about ready to get started?
Let's do it.
We're dancing, aren't we?
We are.
All right, let's do this. All right, we just got done watching Rocky Horror Picture Show. We decided not to do a his and her segment this time because if you couldn't tell by our entrance, there's no way we don't already know what the other's going to say on this.
Yeah, it's a cult classic favorite.
Yeah, for those that haven't seen the movie, a basic synopsis, couple Brad and Janet, played by Barry Bostwick and Susan Sarandon, get engaged the day of a wedding and decide to go see a high school professor of theirs whose class they met in, which, I'm sorry, if I had met you in school, we would not have gone to a teacher's house.
No, that's weird. I mean, I get paying your respects, be like, oh, it's all because of you. But give him a phone call. That's
right. But they end up taking a wrong turn, getting a flat tire, and ending up at the castle of Dr. Frankenfurter, being run by his assistants Riff Raff, Columbia, and Magenta. The music in this is great.
Yes.
After they meet those characters, they meet his creation that he creates in front of them, Rocky. Muscle-bound, blonde, tan, Adonis-like dude is what they're going for.
All muscle, no brain.
Exactly. And he has a really cool song with, if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it has some great imagery. The sword of Damocles is hanging over my head. And that's all I can sing before we get copyright. And then fucking Meatloaf shows up out of nowhere playing the character Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to change what I said earlier. If I can't do Frankenfurter because my wife would disown me, then either Eddie or Riff Raff is who I would dress as.
Yeah.
Brad and Janet end up getting seduced that night by Frankenfurter, played by the national treasure that he is.
Tim Curry. I love everything he's in. Ever.
You thought Clue was okay.
I thought Tim Curry was amazing. Everything else can just be rewritten and redone.
And yeah, it's random, it's funny,
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot.
It throws a lot at you. Like, even as many times as I've watched this, there's new references that I see. There's new references that I hear. There's, it pulls you in all kinds of different directions and throws everything plus the kitchen sink at you.
Yes, you get to see the full range of Tim Curry's acting from sadness, rage, comedy, his seducing.
Which is so funny on its own.
Yes. Question, did you find the movie sexy at all?
It did not.
No?
But I think that's the point. It's a parody on horror. It's a parody on your sort of vanilla thinking. And I mean, we do have to address the term transsexual, transvestite. In today's modern society, it might not...
They recently redid this with people from RuPaul's Drag Race. They did.
But, I mean, my thought, and I had to look this up, was transsexual is such an old term.
Mm-hmm.
It still has a connotation of people who think that they're born in the wrong body. I think it's just like an older term. I'm not sure on that. Whereas transvestite is someone who is sexually attracted to being in the opposite clothing, more often a man in a woman's clothing. So I like the fact that this whole movie is sort of playing on that idea of, well, if you want to be a certain way, if you think a certain way, don't let anybody stop you.
Yeah.
And watching this again with new ways of thinking and modern ways of thinking, it is that much more important, I think, to be a cultural icon. And I love that. I love that so much.
Okay. Was there, outside of the song that everybody knows, Time Warp, outside of that, what's your favorite song in this?
Oh, it's definitely Sword of Damocles.
Yeah?
I love Sword of Damocles when Rocky first hits the scene, and then because he's only really intelligent when he's singing.
Right.
And I think that's so good for his character, because outside of the songs, he's essentially parodying Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster, I should say. Don't come for me.
In the book, he did say that he was going to take the name of his master, so therefore, Frankenstein's monster, if you call him Frankenstein, you're not inaccurate.
Thank you. But yeah, since he's parodying Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein, I love that you do see his character, but only small glimpses of it.
Right. My favorite song outside of Time Warp is either Sweet Transvestite from Transylvania.
That one's a good one.
Or Touch Me.
I don't know about that one. I don't...
No?
Yeah. Well, I think it's Susan Sarandon's voice. She's so high-pitched. But she also had the flu, I think, during that whole...
Yeah, you were saying while we were watching that you had seen a behind-the-scenes thing, and you were pointing out a bunch of stuff.
The commentary.
Yeah.
Years ago, I rewatched it with the commentary, so there are little tidbits that are little fun facts that I know.
Okay.
She was heavily medicated that entire shoot.
Well, now that we have like a full Blu-ray of it that has a ton of backstory stuff, we may have to watch that. But that's neither here nor there. So is there any part of the movie that you didn't like?
I think outside of the very last scene, that very like last minute where they're like crawling around the ground, Brad and Janet are, I don't understand the reference. I think that's my own...
It may be a reference to something. I'm not 100% sure that it is, but it's showing that they did get out, they survived, maybe changed.
Yeah.
I think it is a big thing that they were definitely trying to get across, is everything they went through, there's no way that they're the same anymore.
I mean, I can't imagine you would be the same after being hypnotized by a man in a corset and then having a pool orgy. You wouldn't be the same person either.
That's true. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by our cat who's decided to make all of the noise possible while we're recording this.
Yeah.
There's no way that it is white lace as they had showed Brad and Janet at the beginning of this. There's no way that you come out of everything that they saw, the murders alone.
Yeah, which they never really mention again.
They mention it in the dinner scene.
Yeah.
When you see the dead body of Eddie.
That's a good song, too.
That's a good song, but it's a great line where, after he's done cutting the meat and everybody's been served, Dr. Scott goes, we're here to talk about Eddie, and he goes, a tender subject.
Yeah, and Columbia just screams.
And everybody that knows that Eddie's dead just kind of puts their forks down, and Columbia leaves, and you hear her screaming and all that.
And Rocky's just sitting there eating. Still.
Yeah.
he don't care.
Well, he doesn't understand.
Yeah, he's only 7 hours old. It's fine.
Yeah.
Did you have any closing remarks?
Not closing remarks per se. I did find out that there was a sequel to this movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's called Shock Treatment. And I found it on IMDb. The only thing I know about it is the synopsis here. Jad and Brannett
Brad and Janet.
My dyslexia is kicking in hard. Janet and Brad become contestants on a game show, but wind up as captives instead. I believe written by the same guy, but I decided to see what awards it won because IMDb says it won awards. It won the Stinker Award for Worst Sequel, Worst On-Screen Hairstyle, and was a nominee for Worst Supporting Actor and Worst Song or Song Performance in a Film or in Credits. And also was a nominee for the Most Annoying Fake Male Accent.
Oh, wow.
So we may have to check that one out at some point. Because it has most of the original cast. Tim Curry's not in it. And while Brad and Janet are in it, they recast those two. But the guy that played Riff Raff, the girls that played Magenta and Columbia, thank you, are all in it as well. So, yeah, I never knew that there was a sequel before tonight.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It apparently sucks, and that makes me want to watch it.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts from you, my love?
No. I would definitely recommend going to see this in a theater.
Yes.
The atmosphere is so much different.
Yeah, date night for sure, but fun date night, not romantic date night.
Yeah.
Did we already talk?
No, I think our memory ran out.
See, we've had to record the end of this a couple of times because we keep having issues pop up. So if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. See it in public if possible. It's a wild time. There are certain cues that people just know that going into it that they're going to do.
The newspaper scene.
Yeah, so people bring in newspapers, people bring in bread, water guns, and all that. For instance, in the very beginning when it's raining and they're in the car, the windshield wipers goes back and forth between Brad and Janet, and people will go, asshole slut, while squirting their water bottles in the air to signify the rain. When Frankenfurter at the dinner table goes a toast, everybody throws bread at the screen. It's a fun time. Everybody gets into it, is singing, dancing. Have you ever been to a public showing, love?
I haven't.
We have to change that.
We really do.
Because it is an absolute blast. With that, anything else that you want to add to this?
No.
I have no idea how long this episode is going to be because of all the
all the interruptions.
All the interruptions. There's going to be some hard edits. I know that.
Yeah.
And if this looks really sloppy, we're still new to this. If you have any ideas for anything that you want us to review in the future, comment down below. Please like and subscribe. The rest of the month, we don't know what we're showing each other, so it'll be back to our usual format. And yeah, welcome to Spooky Month, everybody.
Yeah.
With that, we will see you next week.